Welcome to the BearDown Corner. Here's your host, Sergeant Cornholio. Hello everyone and welcome to another edition, episode 4 of the BearDown Corner. Here we go over your weekly NFL news heading into Sunday, recap Thursday night's game, and go over a little bit of fantasy. Plus whatever else the NFL wants to throw at us and around the league. So, grab your popcorn, sit back, get ready, let's have some fun. We're out there on all platforms, we're out there in podcasts, we're here to have fun. I am Sergeant Cornholio, and this is the BearDown Corner. So, we reach into some around the league news to start things off. We got the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Shahid Khan, debating on the futures of Doug Peterson and their GM. I think it's Trent Baalke who's over there. Honestly, summed up for the Jacksonville Jaguars, they have just had an up and down season. Spend a crap ton of money in the offseason. Gabe Davis is on injury reserve. Freaking their corner they went and signed, I don't even know the guy's name, got a boatload of money. He's been targeted all year. He's either injured or gets tossed at like 28 times a game. It's just bad news all around. I don't see much going forward for Doug Peterson in that group. Trevor Lawrence hasn't been healthy the last few weeks. They're just not looking like a good football team. So I wish the best to the Khan family. They do own and operate as well his son AEW, which I am also a big fan of as well. So I hope things get turned around there for them, because honestly they were exciting when Lawrence was doing all right. They had that nice stretch a couple years back, made the playoffs, felt good, but they just haven't been able to take that next ascension leap, So good luck to the Jaguars there. Moving on, Brock Purdy in his throwing shoulder, yes, I said that right, his throwing shoulder has been sore enough to the point that he is in question for this Sunday's matchup in Green Bay. So that is definitely something to keep an eye on. I'm not even really sure who the hell their backup is anymore, honestly. I didn't pay that much attention in the offseason to that part. It was all the other storylines that went with it, right? So hopefully he's going to be all right. That team definitely functions as a fluidity with him at the quarterback helm. Good luck, Brock Purdy. That sucks, man. Your throwing shoulder, you don't need a repeat of the NFC Championship game a few years back against the Eagles now, do you? Heal that bitch up, get back, get to your playoffs. Moving along, we also have Rex Ryan, the big man, the cheese, says he can revitalize the New York Jets. The man has come out, recent interviews, nothing major, just stating the obvious. The Jets have too much talent. Defensively, they should be better too. I can fix anything because I'm the savior. Look, you're 61-year-old former head coach. Not a bad head coach by no means. Do I think you're going to prop that team up unless you take the complete reins away from Rodgers and say, this is my goddamn team? I don't know if you got the balls to do it. If not, it's going to be an even worser mess than it was this year. So, I don't know. Good luck, New York. That's all I can say. Rex Ryan wants to be your head coach again. So, I don't know. What do you say to that? Let me know in any of the comments on any of the other socials that we're on. Any questions, happy to bring them up in this program. We shall continue. Daniel Jones. Here's one that caught me off guard. Daniel Jones has requested and been granted his release from the New York Giants. As per sources from their local news source, there was a meeting between him and Mara. Basically, Mara said, yeah, you're good to go. Peace out, dog. As of Monday at 4:01 Eastern Time, he is free to sign with any NFL team after passing waivers. And who the fuck wants that $40+ million a year contract for the next 2 seasons? Daniel Jones, gonna be a free agent. The NFL has decided to flex its options at swapping schedules. So Thursday night football, week 16, will no longer be Browns and Bengals. They have removed them because they feel they can put on a better product with the Denver Broncos versus the Los Angeles Chargers, in which should be really, with that being the final 3 weeks worth of football heading into playoffs, big time game for those two clubs. They are both trending in the direction of two immovable objects of defense, and they play not similar, but they like to get the run going first, throw in some play action, let your quarterback do a few things. Bo Nix is becoming more and more comfortable, I see. That is a great thing for the Broncos, great thing for Cortland Sutton and the rest of that squad. The LA Chargers, McConkey, the rookie, he is looking as the number one guy. Herbert is more than comfortable in Harbaugh's system. Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a game. And honestly, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. If I was a player in the NFL, you have a Sunday game, whatever it is. Maybe it's a night game. Probably wasn't. Probably an 11 o'clock game. But you now get shoved onto a short bye week. Not even a bye week, a short week after your Sunday, and you weren't expecting that mid-season. Well, you know what? Just as injuries, things change. So adapt, manipulate, and go out and perform. That's really all you can do. So good luck to those teams. Hopefully this doesn't mess up your way of thinking and schedule-wise. And, hope to see some good football. Moving along again, we will recap the Thursday Nighters. So, watched most of it. Hard-nosed game, snowball, whatever the hell you want to call it. Honestly, it was a good game. Browns and friggin' Pittsburgh, that was a defensive snow game where literally Nick Chubb, as the star of the game for the Browns, rushes for 2 touchdowns, catches 1 pass for a yard. Actually, I don't even know if it made it a yard. 59 yards on the ground. That tells you the movement of the ball for these clubs. And in that, Pittsburgh doesn't look any weaker. Not at all. It was just the Browns are not the Browns from the beginning of the season. Kevin Stefanski and that squad, I'm not saying they're going to make playoffs by no goddamn stretch of the imagination, but you guarantee they're going to show up every Sunday with Myles Garrett in that defense, Jameis Winston and the rest of the freaking misfits ready to come out in their little brown topper hats looking like the elves they are and put a Christmas shit stomping all over everyone. Why? Because they're here to put the Browns on the spoiler in all of your Christmas stockings this season. So good luck facing them. They could win some games. I like the Browns. I liked them last year when they had Joe Flacco. I think the Deshaun Watson quarterback situation is well and done. They need to scrap the man, take your cap loss for a season, offer Winston some money under the table, and just keep him there. Then sign him to your long-term quarterback contract after a season of shit with the dead cap money you get from Watson, and your restart is there. You have all the pieces. You have offense. You went and got Judy. You got Tillman as your receivers. God knows the rest of your depth chart, but guess what? Time for guys to get an opportunity. So let them have it. The Browns are not a sleeper team. Even Dookie agrees. The Browns are not a sleeper team. That doesn't take away from a game that the Steelers needed to have in continuing their push to control the AFC North, because that win against Baltimore last week was just a stepping stone. You have the team. You have the team to get it done. You got a quarterback in Wilson who can do what he needs to. Friggin' Fields can come in and get the job done if absolutely needed. Pickens looks like more of a superstar with Russell behind quarterback. I hate to say that, but the team they're ready to win now, and they never were in rebuilding. So, yeah, the AFC North is shaping up to be a goddamn shit show down the line here. So, good luck in that. But highlight notes from that game, Russell Wilson, 21 of 28 completions, 270 yards and 1 TD. Not enough to get the job done. Yeah, Hail Mary fail at the end. Not much you can do there. It only happens every so often. So, good game on Thursday, and we're hoping for a good, fun slate of games this weekend. As we roll into that side of news, we shall update on current bye weeks heading into week 12. For those in fantasy land, we have the Atlanta Falcons. So Bijan Robinson, Darnell Mooney, and your wonderful Drake London operation owners. Take heed as you need replacements. So don't wait till the last minute on Sunday, boys. Moving. Buffalo, my man, Josh Allen, getting the shit done against Kansas City in Buffalo last week. Good job, Mr. Allen. Him and the rest of the boys, James Cook and all them receivers, are on bye this week, so get your well-deserved rest. You have a big leap ahead afterwards. Cincinnati, well, man, Cincinnati, they're just... I like Cincinnati. I've liked Cincinnati since the Chad Johnson and Carson Palmer days, where Ocho Cinco is doing his dance in the end zone and getting jiggy with it. Look, the man was a top 5 NFL wide receiver in his day. They had really not much on defense other than the few years they had some wins. 11-5 and I think like 9-7 or some shit. I like Cincinnati. I like that underdog style. They have a really good team. Damn it, when you lose by a touchdown in pretty much most of all your games in a season, and you're still somehow, because of what your team and what your quarterback and your wide receivers and the whole mix and shabam can do, you're still in the playoff hunt. So don't give up, Cincinnati fans. It's only week 12, still enough to run off a little winning streak and make the playoffs. Good luck to you. You're going to need it. You're on bye this week. Rest up. New Orleans, well, Taysom Hill, everyone. Taysom Hill. Mr. Utility Player of the Century is showing why the man can still get it done at, I'm pretty sure, 34 years old. 8 receptions, 90 yards, something like that at tight end. Catching. He tossed the ball twice, 1 of 12 and 1 interception, whatever, crap happens. Ran for over 100+ yards and 3 goddamn touchdowns. The man was a beast on Sunday. Look to him being a player they count on in the future. It's going to be hit and miss. He ain't having 3 touchdowns next week. If he does, great. But for now, rest that old body, rest that old soul. New Orleans is here to fight till the bitter end. So enjoy, New Orleans fans. You'll be fun to watch. To wrap up the bye weeks, as I read these 2 teams, we already talked and touched on them a bit with the Rex Ryan and Con talks. But you know what? Summed up of it is... Thinking of his son, my bad. Shad Khan is going to assess and probably determine if he's going to fire his head coach this week. That's what's going to go down. And in New York, they've already turfed everyone. Who else can they fire? Screw it at this point. Cut goddamn Rodgers or bench him. Like, I don't know what they need to do there, but nothing is working. Nothing is working, and they have too much talent. And I don't think you're the answer, Rex Ryan, but it'd be sure as fun to watch you hop in there for a bit and see what you can do. It would. So enjoy your bye weeks, Jacksonville and New York Jets, as it's probably long overdue after the suffering you've gone through for the first, 2/3 of the season. So good luck to you. Diving into fantasy, we have from Team Moby Ditka, Mr. McCaffrey at Green Bay. Obvious start, McCaffrey. Not much to be said there. He's been a little lighter at practice this week. It's going to be like that the rest of the season. Any major updates that maybe I don't know about at this current time have not been revealed. So currently saying from this aspect, McCaffrey is an automatic start, obviously. Let the man do his thing until he goes on the IR again. Who knows when that could be if something acts up. But you know what? Knock on wood, that don't happen. Kyren Williams against a tough Philadelphia defense right now. Philly has turned it up. They're back to where they should be. Sorry for that. Philly is back where they need to be defensively. They're looking good. They still give up a hell of a lot of yards and ways, but every team has their moments. Do I see Williams having a struggle against them? Yes and no. Yes and no, because a lot of the time in the season, he's had a good 4 to 5 yard average per carry. So they like to use him in the pass game. Probably see more of that, if anything, this game. Because considering you got the Philly offense sitting there with Goddard, A.J. Brown, Deontay Smith, and God forbid we don't mention Saquon Barkley at running back, there is no reason this can't be a automatic, surefire touchdown fest for everyone to feast upon if the defenses decide to say, screw it, we're out for the day, have at it, boys, go score. That's what could very easily happen. And if that happens, you have running laps opening all day long. So, yeah, it's going to be a good showdown. I think all players from both sides are probably primed to have good days. Or you're about to get a great defensive shit show that might be like a 10-9 win. Good luck. Good luck out there. Nico Collins, Tennessee Titans, Houston versus Tennessee. So Tennessee has what I feel is a more underrated pass defense in the league in comparison to other teams. Why do I say this? Quite simply because even if you broke down the stats, look back through the weeks, and the numbers don't lie. Number one receivers, especially against Tennessee, have struggled this year. They just have. Either they minimize their targets to the point that they'll still catch some balls and, make some stuff, but they're not putting up bombing numbers, which I hope as a divisional game I'm wrong. Nico Collins can come out and be like, hey, this is why I was missed so much. That'd be great. But I'm worried this week because they held the likes of Ladd McConkey, who's had multiple 100-yard games in the last however many weeks, to 2 targets for 2 catches and 54 yards. Now, that is the part that I want to bring up, though, is you see, he might have only had those 2 catches, but the man still put together half a century mark. So there is room for a wide receiver. You just have to be able to sneak and sleek in the right way, which I feel Nico Collins has the ability. But again, they held a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown to literally, I think it was 1 catch, 7 yards, and his lone touchdown that game. They kept him off. It was a 52-point game that, I guess, game script otherwise for the Detroit Lions, however many weeks back may have been an absolute blowout. But if you look defensively, they just scored off turnovers mainly. I know that's how you win a game, but it wasn't the defense's fault. When the offense is committing so many goddamn turnovers, you're giving up that many points, but yet defensive stat-wise, You're holding the team's running backs and everything else to bare minimum numbers, pedestrian numbers. Like, it's nice to get touchdowns, but at the end of the day, like, you're also wanting that little bit more out of your guys. Now, as a team, you know what? You play, you win, you're great. It doesn't matter how you win. Really, it doesn't. But as a fantasy owner, you want to see better production out of that. You want to see the looks. But when a team is holding the other team's guys within check like that, it doesn't bode well for top receivers going against Tennessee. I still think he's going to make his stat line, possibly more. Tough matchup. Houston, Tennessee. Good luck, Joe Mixon fans. Tank Dell, the rest of them. What I do like out of that game on the Tennessee side, Calvin Ridley. Even Tony Pollard's not bad. I have both them on some fantasy teams. Ridley is getting all the number one target share. There ain't no doubt about it. He's just getting everything. So there's got to be the room for, here's a touchdown, 50 yards, you got 6 catches. He's a very safe play, I feel, at this point in the season. So don't sleep on Calvin Ridley. Go pick him up. Use him as needed. I'm not saying start him. I do have him started in some of my leagues, but those are my leagues. If you need a wide receiver, though, if you can get Ridley, go get him. Hell, if you can get Juan Jennings, also from San Francisco, just as McCaffrey at wide receiver position, go get him. He is going to get playing time. Everyone is half banged up or not even playing anymore in San Francisco. Kittle dealing with rib injuries all damn season. Debo dealing with his 28 different symptoms. Ayuk out. Hip on Jennings. But guess what? He's still motoring. He's still going. Purcell is looking good. But man, San Francisco, they are taking it this year. It'll be interesting to see how they come out. I hope they do well. I do. Not just because I have personal interest vested because of the players I got, but because they are fun to watch. They have created their culture. So make that culture your win and move on in the day. Other wide receivers to note, Monday Night Football. Los Angeles Chargers host the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson and his squad of misfits. Derrick Henry, Kane Henry is going to come in rushing like a son of a bitch. Zay Flowers, Deontay Johnson, Rashad Bateman, ready to round up the receiving core. I do have Flowers, and I got McConkey on the other side, where he leads a group of Quentin Johnston, Josh Palmer. You got running backs, J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards. More of that Vidal kid. He's a fun little dude to watch. He is. But Dobbins is the lead back there. Justin Herbert leading that squad. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored. Probably in the 40-plus combined, if not better. Maybe even the 30-30 game. Who knows? Sky's the limit. Ravens defense has been giving up points like they're goddamn Oprah Winfrey cookies. And the LA Chargers have been doing their damnedest to hold everything, but they still got nipped by the bug last week against Cincinnati. Cincinnati is a very good offensive team. So kind of rounding out that, you can play that hard-nosed football, but LA Chargers, they are susceptible to being scored on. Just as anyone, but more so, they're not. They're a top 10 defense in certain categories, and others, they fall off. They can be trusted on, but you definitely can't rely on the fact of it being like a goddamn 9-6 victory or some shit like that. You're going to have to score some touchdowns. And I think that's going to happen. McConkey was dealing with a shoulder practice yesterday. So hopefully he shows up healthy today, because if not, Flowers is getting the start. I'm only starting one or the other. Because in Flex this week, We got Tyrone Tracy taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tommy DeVito at quarterback, everyone. The man of Manhattan at the moment, taking over for Daniel Jones, who's being released this week. Tyrone Tracy expected for even more workload in passing opportunities in recent reports. And Tampa gives a lot of that up. So expect, I hope, and feel a big week for Tyrone Tracy. Big week for hopefully McConkey or Flowers, whoever gets the start based on injury. And Monday Night Football will be fun to watch. And then on to the Sunday night game, where you will have the wonderful LA Rams and Philadelphia Eagles. It is a big weekend in LA. You got Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football. I won't touch too much on the Sunday nighter, as we did discuss a little earlier, but William, Stafford, Nakua, Kupp, go down the line. DeMarcus Robinson deep in there, but that's if you're deep PPR. I don't know. Maybe you look at Atwell if you need a replacement somewhere. It's going to be more your three-headed monster versus their headed monster. Their three-headed monster. It's going to be a fun game. So you're going to want to grab your popcorn for Sunday night and Monday Night Football. To round us out, some notables if you need other guys. You got Tua in New England this weekend, quarterback. Did well last week. He's looking comfortable again. Miami is on the upswing. I don't know necessarily about Tyreek Hill dealing with his fucking one limp hand, but the rest of that squad, they're trying to prime up. They know what they can be. So they're going to go be it. As we talk in the same game, you have Rashawn Stevenson. He's been looking solid the last 3 out of 4 weeks. 12 plus more points or better. Look to him as a filler if you have injuries at all. One guy limited this week in practice from the Bears, Mr. DeAndre Swift. I had him on teams. I have enjoyed what he's been doing. I don't know what his status is as of yet, heading into the weekend, but as of yesterday, I'm probably going to start Stevenson over him if he continues trending to that out designation. That will be my switch on my Stroking Ditka team, so good luck there. Jamari Gibbs, obvious start, but, like to mention him anyway. They're in Indy this weekend. Also with Indy, though, wide receiver option if you can pick him up. Josh Downs. I liked him in his rookie year. He showed the flashes that we are now seeing on a week in, week out. And he's their future. He's their future there. I don't know about Michael Pittman, if he's their long-term plans or not. I don't know. There's when Richardson's in at quarterback, Pittman, yes, has been an option, but it's like he likes a few of his other boys a little bit more, like Alex Pierce and Josh Downs. So, I don't know. Have to keep an eye on that. If not, you got old Jonathan Taylor to rely on. Good luck, Indy. You fought valiant last week. You came over the Jets. A lot of people have done that this year, so good luck with another tough test on your schedule. CeeDee Lamb, foot and ankle issues this week. Practice. Little doubtful. Most probably going to play whatever capacity. He might just stand there and look pretty, and defenses will have to at least assign a guy. That kind of dealio, right? So look out on CeeDee Lamb. You might want to get some replacements for him. Not much really else you can say there. Rounding out at the tight end position, Trey McBride, obvious start. I like him. I like what I'm seeing in the Arizona Cardinals. Not going to say they're a bona fide team, but damn, they look a hell of a lot better than some. Defense-wise, I grabbed their defense this week. I like them moving forward. I throw my recommendation behind that. Again, it's football. Anything happens. I could be 100% wrong. But if you're correct majority of the guessing time, you're probably going to be okay. My guts with the Arizona defense. We'll see how it plays out. I'll give you an update next week in episode 5. But for this week, it's going to be a fun to watch down the stretch. I can say that much. Travis Kelce has a really nice matchup in Carolina this week. God, if you have him, start him. I know he's been what he needs to be finally for every fantasy manager, but why? Because they have no receivers. They have no receivers. That is why Travis Kelce, just like Cade Otton in Tampa, is getting all the targets. Talking of Tampa, I hope you got him, but at this point, if you don't, go get Rachaad White if you can. Because when you only got 2 running backs and a tight end left as your receivers, it's pretty easy to see where those numbers go. So, but that is your fantasy roundup for the week. Yeah, we just went a little over the half-hour mark, so this has been fun. This has been a gem. This is number 23 of Devin Hester, the Hall of Famer, Chicago Bears, legendary returner. And I am Sergeant Cornholio of Twitch, Kick, YouTube, Instagram, other socials, you got it, TikTok, X, and so forth. We here at the BearDown Podcast would like to thank you for joining us today on our wonderful episode 4. We will be back next Friday for episode 5, where we run down the Week 13 Thursday Night Football recap, your around the league news, fantasy outlook, and preparation for Sunday's game, and just overall general football talk. We love y'all. Take care of yourselves. Until the next time. This is the BearDown Podcast.